I'm always amazed on how a simple shift in consciousness can have a profound impact in our lives. Even when we're going through the most troubling of times, if we shift our perspective and how we're looking at things, sometimes we can actually see gifts in our most troubling times that take us off in a whole new and powerful direction. Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. Several years ago, I found myself in a position I never thought I would. Divorced after a 26-year relationship and playing the role of a single dad. I mean, my whole world had turned upside down. And I need to be really clear. My son, Jason, who decided to stay and live with me, he's an absolutely awesome young man. And given the circumstances, he did an amazing job himself, and he really became my best friend. But there was definitely the challenges I was dealing with. Now, living life without a partner and having to play the role, particularly of a chauffeur, where I was taking my son around everywhere. You know, I had to take him, get up early in the morning, take him to school, and I had to make sure that meetings got done in the afternoon so I could pick him up from school. And I took him to work, and then I'd have to drive him on his little dates. And even though it was fantastic to have him with me, what I started doing is getting totally focused and obsessed with the fact of how impaired my schedule became, having to play the role of a single dad. Well, one day, I was at the high school parking lot getting ready to pick him up, and I was on the phone with my good friend Tom. And I, of course, was going through this whole litany of how my life was in such a disarray. You know, I have to pick him up from school. I have to take him to school. I take him on his little dates. And my friend just let me just vomit all over him with all my complaints. And after I was done, I remember him very clearly. He got very silent. And then he said to me, he said, "Chris, you don't have to take your son to school. You get to take him to school. You don't have to take him to school. You get to take him to school." Now, I have to admit, when he first said that, I felt a little hurt, like I wasn't being heard. But then I let it sink in, and I realized how petty I was and what amazing situation I had. I mean, the alternative was to have Jason be with his mom, who at that time had moved to the big island of Hawaii, over 3,000 miles away. And heck, in several months, he was going to be getting his own driver's license. And we wouldn't be having these conversations that we had every morning and every afternoon. So it helped me shift my perspective. And I want to ask you today, where do you have an opportunity to do the same thing? Where might you be wrapped up in, oh my gosh, I have to do this, and in the negativity of a situation where you could flip it to a get to? You know, maybe you could think about it as, I don't have to be on this diet. I get to eat nutritious foods. I don't have to exercise. I get to move my body. I don't have to go to work. I get to go to a job that challenges me and pays me. And even if you can't stand your job, you don't have to go there. You get to go and look for a new job, right? We always have opportunities. We don't have to take them to school. We get to take them to school. So this week, as you're looking at your own life, where do you have those opportunities to flip the script in terms of how you're looking at things? Where do you have an opportunity to change your perspective? And when you do that, make sure that you change your whole trajectory in terms of how you're living your life, how you're spending time in relationship, how you're doing your work, whatever that might be. Because we don't have to live our lives. We get to live our lives. So everyone, thanks so much for listening. I love your comments. I love your shares. And if you found some value in this, make sure you share this with a friend or comment below. And if you have any other topics you'd like me to share, please share that as well. So anyway, this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.